Yeah, hi everybody. Stephen Lee here, Senior Scientist and Manager of the Research Program at Sonoma Ecology Center. It's been another dry year, dry winter, and we keep getting a lot of questions from interested folks about where things stand with rainfall and water supplies. So we figured we'd share some information with you. So I'm going to share a screen here. So this is the rainfall record for the city of Sonoma, the long-term record going back to the early 1950s. And in this record, you can see we have these periods, these dry spells where we have these drought periods. But we all remember last year was such a low rainfall year, and this is what it looked like last year, down around a little under 9 inches in the city of Sonoma, and compared to the previous low, which was in 1977 at a little over 11 inches. Last year, 2020 to 2021 water year was the lowest rainfall record lowest rainfall on record for the city of Sonoma. City of Sonoma, by the way, on average gets about 30 inches of rain. Some of the areas in the valley get a little bit more. Glen Ellen might get more like 30, 38, but about 30 in Sonoma. And so what we all remember was that that resulted in really dry conditions in the streams last year. This is the Sonoma Creek down around Watma-Leveroni area. And for the first time in recent memory, the creek was essentially dry from the tidelands all the way up through Kenwood, except for just some isolated pools. So that's not so great for the fish and the other species that rely on healthy streams and stream flow. So we were pretty worried about that. But then in October, late October, we got that really big storm that took the creeks from dry conditions all the way up to flood stage in a single 24-hour window. And so that was a lot of rain that came all at once. And in fact, throughout the months of November and December, we got some additional rainfall that brought our levels up, pretty well, getting at least closer to average. We're around, what are we at here, 20 inches or something, just under 20 inches in the city of Sonoma as of right now. And through that month of those months of November and December, we got all that snowpack in the Sierras, which was great. We got 160% of average snowpack as of December 31st, which is excellent. And that for the whole state, because the state receives about 30% of its water from snowpack. But here in Sonoma County, we don't receive any of our water from snowpack. It's all based on rainfall. And since that December period in December, since early January, we've had this high pressure system that we've had just living off of our coast set back in, and that takes all of the winter storms they take them up into British Columbia, Alaska, sometimes down to the Seattle area, and then it kind of drops down through the plains and up the East Coast. So that's been the weather system we've been having, with almost no rain since basically December. So where does that leave us with our water supply level? This is the chart that shows the water supply levels from Lake Sonoma, and you can see we have good years and we have bad years. This is about what we consider full conditions for the lake. So for example, in 2019, when we get most of our rainfall comes in the January through March period. 2019 was an example of where we had really good rainfall, and then as the rain season ended and it started to drop off and we started to use the lake water, that left us in a position, still pretty good for the following year in 2019 to 2020. But in 2020 to 21, last year, this is where we started off. We started off already at pretty low levels, and then we got almost no rainfall throughout the course of last rain season. So it didn't bring the levels of the lake up hardly at all. And then as you can see here, then as through usage, the lake level dropped to here, and that's where we started this year. And so we starting off this year lower than even than last year. But luckily that October storm, bumped us up quite a bit in one day. And then those storms throughout November, December brought us back up from there. But it brought us back up to about the level of where we were last year at that same time in January to February. And since then, we've been using water again with no rain, so it's been dropping off since then. So this gives you kind of a sense of where things stand this year compared to last year. We're under where we were last year. And so if you kind of know where things stood in our drought conditions last year, we're going about at the same place we were last year, hopefully we'll get a little bit more rain. There's a storm on the forecast for next Tuesday that could come in that will hopefully bring us 1/3 of an inch. Hopefully we'll have a series of storms that come in later in March and into April. That happens sometimes. So let's all keep our fingers crossed for that, because right now the conditions aren't looking great for water in Sonoma Valley or for Sonoma Creek. Thanks a lot.